In a park in downtown Kabul, huddled under the trees, are a group of Afghans ignored by society. With a syringe in one hand, a vial of heroin in the other, this 28-year-old man begins a ritual that's been part of his life for the past 7 years. He draws the liquid out, what's left over he drinks, and then he gets into position. Health workers give him sterile swabs to clean his skin. He doesn't use the crook of his arm because his veins have collapsed. Instead, he chooses the back of his hand. For the next 5 minutes, he slowly pumps heroin into his veins. He then collapses with the needle still sticking out of his hand. This is a tragic scene repeated throughout the country, with up to 1 million Afghanis addicted to drugs. That's 8% of the population, double the world average. With Afghanistan producing 90% of the world's opium, the main ingredient of heroin, drugs here are pure in quality and very cheap. 28-year-old Reza injects half a gram a day, which costs around $4. He started a year ago after being introduced to it by a bad friend. He says he'd like to give up, but at the moment he can't. Using drugs made me leave my home, my family, he tells me. If I didn't use drugs, I would have a family, a good life.
I will show you the...
Ernst Visser runs a preventative drug program for Médecins du Monde in Kabul. It's the only clinic that provides methadone, a substitute for heroin, but can only legally cater for 71 drug users.
I would describe the drug addiction problem in Afghanistan as enormous and growing.
The clinic also helps addicts who walk in off the street.
This is his first day that he's not used any other drugs normally. He's just been put on methadone.
He introduces me to 38-year-old Asadullah, who's been an addict for 14 years. The father of 4 says his family has had enough. I want to use methadone until I forget drugs completely, he says. I want to be a healthy person, to find a good way to start a normal life. 2 years ago, there was a real sign the Afghan government and the international community were serious about tackling drug addiction in this country. A methadone program started, but 2 months later, it was shut down. Officials saying they're still trying to work out the best form of treatment. According to the United Nations, it is. But that means little to the countless number of desperate Afghanis who can't access the methadone program. 25-year-old Masoma is willing to try a more basic form of treatment. She and her entire family, including her 2 young boys, are addicted to opium. I started to use the drug like a medicine for pain relief after my husband died. But when I became an addict, I had to search for a way to stop this. They're staying at Mother Camp, an organisation founded by a local Afghan woman which tackles drug abuse through counselling. I feel shame and say to myself, why did I do this? Why didn't I think of my children, my future? A powerful motive that for now is keeping her addiction at bay. But for so many other Afghanis, that battle is lost. Anna Corrin, CNN, Kabul.